Good evening, everybody. How's it going?
Hey, everyone.
Okay, we've got like 3 cameras we're looking at, so we just got to let you know.
That's right.
We've got the camera right up about here that's coming down on us. That is for Webinar Jam. We got a couple of iPhones that are looking at us at different angles so that we can be live.
Yeah.
We're pretty excited.
Yeah, well, we got some stuff to say today.
So we wanted to make sure we had it on all our social media so everybody could see what we're doing. We have put, since the New Year's, we put a few hundred hours into this.
Yeah, so I mean, we're going to start today with changing the format up just a little bit. We're not going to be any longer doing just the 1 hour long MLM generic training. We're actually going to start breaking things up into 2 pieces moving forward here, to where the first half is going to be the MLM training for 30 minutes. And then we're actually going to show you how to utilize the hour-a-day prospecting system to specifically accomplish whatever we were talking about in the MLM training.
Exactly.
So it's going to become a bit of a first part for the people that don't want to use a prospecting system, and second part to see just how our prospecting system can help with all the things that you get taught to do in MLM.
So maybe we should tell everybody why this happened, because, you know, we a lot of companies now are starting and distributor teams are doing a 90-day challenge.
Yes.
And last week we talked about 90-day challenge and how to do it effectively to get out a 90-day challenge to people.
Yes.
Then we started thinking, wow, you really need to have the hour-a-day prospecting system, or some prospecting system.
And that comes a bit from the belief that we want to make the 90-day challenge, and the things that I'm coaching my clients on lately is that the 90-day challenges shouldn't be just about enrollments. If you can reward the activities that will lead to an enrollment during a campaign or a contest, I think you can get a lot more engagement. Because when you're just saying, hey, if you sponsor 9 guys, you're qualified. Well, how about if you added 100 people to your prospecting system by reaching out, asking permission, getting yes, and now you got 100 leads in a system? That's going to lead to enrollments, whether it's in the contest period or not, but it's creating some habits. So as we started to talk about all that, we started to go, well, hang on, then let's get the hour a day more front and center to help track all that stuff. And yeah, that's sort of where we came from.
And then you got your programmers doing things. And so we've been working on different time zones. And then we dug into it, excuse me, really on the weekend is when we really dug into what the system could do.
Yes.
And it's amazing what you put together. We're going to share that in the second half.
The second half.
Of what it's all about. But today we're really talking about what do you got to do to get out there and start creating that momentum for 2017. That's what we're really going to talk about here. We got to.
Well, and we're going to focus on how you would use an auto prospecting system in that. It doesn't matter whether it's the hour-a-day prospecting system or something else that you like out there. We don't really care. But we're going to talk in terms of you are going to get technically assisted.
Yeah. So let's begin on that. I mean, the old days. I mean, let's go back. I mean, because we've been doing this over 20 years. So the old days we didn't have computers to do this on.
Yeah, well, I mean,
there's your old prospecting
system. As I shared before, this was my old prospecting system with all of my recipe cards, right? So my recipe cards, what I said to them, what date I said it to them, January through December, and 1 through 31 dividers. So I just went in and said, it's January, and bring up January to the forefront, and there's all the people for the first. Call them, write a note, put them in the right place, close the computer. It even worked in a power outage. It was amazing.
And it worked, though.
I tell you, it was just fantastic. So a good prospecting system needs to at least do this. So a good prospecting system needs to at least be a contact manager that allows you to collect notes about each and every person and date and timestamp stuff, so you can see when, what, if you call someone up and they, hey man, I got this thing I want to show you, and I have no idea if you're interested or not, but do you got 5 minutes to take a look? You know what, man, I'm just on my way to Hawaii for 2 weeks. Perfect. So if you're using a prospecting system with a proper contact manager, you would put going to Hawaii for 2 weeks. You'd click the little box to go next follow-up for 2 weeks. And now that guy would go away off your list. You wouldn't have to call him. And in 2 weeks, he'll pop back on your list, and you'll be able to say, how was your trip to Hawaii? So now you sound like the most switched on guy anywhere. So basic contact management is really, really key to any kind of an auto prospecting system. It needs to tell you what to do today because you can't remember to do all the things. We used to have those daytimer things. Remember them too?
Daytimers.
Daytimers. Like
we used to have maps too. I remember back then. You know, we digress. But when you think about it, when we're talking to people about their prospecting systems, there's a lot of them out there, but none, except for Our Day, to my knowledge, has been designed specifically for MLM. For MLM marketing. I mean, so what we've been doing in the past, and many people that I talk to are using some other system, and they're tailor making it, and they're making it work for their MLM,
but it's not meant to be MLM.
But it's not perfect, and then it doesn't do all the things that we need to do in MLM that is a little bit different from traditional sales and marketing.
And what I see most of the time MLMers doing is they're picking 2 or 3 different tools and they're trying to stitch them together to get everything that, and an Hour a Day knows that you need all those 2 or 3 tools. So they're all in Hour a Day. Now keep in mind, Hour a Day is free, right? For any small networker, it's free. It doesn't cost you a darn thing. When you get over 2,000 communications a month, you need to start paying for it. By then you're making money. You should be happy to pay for it.
Exactly.
But back to what a contact, back to what an auto prospecting system needs to have, obviously contact management. Now it obviously needs to have some kind of a sales funnel process, right? It has to be able to present your opportunity. Now in the old days, we did it really stupid. In fact, well, I got to be careful because there's still people doing it this way. And you just put up a page that said, man, I'll give you my ebook if you fill in your contact details on this page that I tell you nothing about anything except that you're going to get rich and show you a nice pretty car and a nice fancy house. And that's a perfect way to generate a ton of leads. Did you know that, Craig? You can generate a massive number of leads that way.
Give me your name. I'll give you a $25 Starbucks card. You're going to get a lot of names.
Right. And of course, that leads us to another very important component of an auto prospecting system, because if you're going to generate leads that poorly, you better have some way that you never need to talk to these people to follow up. Now, we'll get to that later. So you're going to need autoresponders. The reality is in MLM, if you're not picking up the phone and calling your people to follow up with them, you're never going to make any money anyways. But let's go back to the stupid example where we've put I'll give you $25 if you give me your name and number and pretend you're interested in something that I've told you nothing about. And you collect all their information before you told them a darn thing. Perfect. So this is what the old days used to be called landing pages. Greatest way to get a ton of useless leads. And of course, the idea was if I have 1 million leads, and even though they're complete garbage, a percentage of them will sign up. And to me, that just sounds like a lot of hard work.
Well, it is. I mean, go back to the old days where we used to buy lists of people and we would manually pick up the phone and we would be dialing for dollars 6 to 8 hours a day. None of this hour a day.
No.
That didn't work.
No.
Hour a day.
That's because we had to write this down and we had to have our day timers and we had to copy our day timer at the end of this month into the future month and pull all your stuff. And oh man, we did a lot of busy work.
Yeah. But you know what? You still got those people are still in there. You don't have a crash on your computer on that one.
No.
So you can probably still pull out contacts.
Look at that. This is from 1998. I started talking to Mr. Chuck Blanick on the 29th of October, 1998, and I sent him a pack of information. Oh, that's the other thing we used to do.
Oh, geez.
We actually used to spend money and send out physical packages of stuff.
Usually they were videotapes and maybe there was 1 or 2 of them and promotional. I mean, it would cost us $20, $30 just to send out some information. And then we expected them to look at it. Did they sign up?
I actually ended up selling him product and I received payment. So he started with me October 29th, 98. The appears to be the first, so January 1st. Oh no, here we go. 2/25/1999. I actually received payment for the products, and then he never returned any of my calls. I made a retail sale.
Made a retail sale, but I mean, look at this, everybody. I mean, it's all the notes. I mean, that's the computer world back in 1999.
That's right. That's right.
And then you got smart. You decided we could take all this. You could automate it.
Yeah. So Hour a Day, just to talk about where it came from. Hour a Day came from my own desire to have an easier way to get the word about my MLM out to more people. So Hour a Day was born out of my own need to have a system that did this because it just didn't seem to make sense that there wasn't such a thing. So I initially built it myself in PHP and MySQL, and I'm not a programmer, but I got some great ones that work with us. And I made it work, and I ended up reselling it. And then eventually I just commercialized it and had my developers start to work on it. At this point, we're just close to $2 million into it. And it's a real interesting system, but we're supposed to be talking about generic.
I know that,
systems,
but okay, so let's talk about generic,
excited.
because I mean, really, what we're talking about multiple systems. Most people have got something like, well, we can use names like Salesforce or some. That's a hard one to do.
Well, I think from an MLM point of view, it's more like they're going to have a WordPress site that they're trying to capture some kind of a leads on. Maybe then they're using Zapier to drop it into Zoho, and then they're having Zoho. Yeah, and they're doing their surveys through SurveyMonkey, and then they're pushing out to, you know, so they're connecting all these things to try to collect the data and then manipulate the data. And that's, of course, what auto prospecting is all about. You're supposed to automate some of these tasks. So you drive traffic to your web page that's done properly. We recommend not a landing page that immediately asks them to give up their details for something free, but actually, if they're interested, they should give you your details, because then when you actually pick up the phone and phone them, you might have a chance of signing them up.
You might.
That's not so much a prospecting system thing, but your own logic. Because I would assume if you're using if you're using WordPress, you could choose to collect their information on the landing page, or you could choose to put them through a bit more of a funnel before you ask for their details. So that's more your own way of thinking. I strongly recommend
the funnel.
A funnel.
Well, let's talk about the funnel, because this goes back to, you know, when we first got involved in the industry over 20 years ago. Our mentor, we didn't have a sales funnel. His sales funnel was an answering machine, if you can remember. I mean, it really was. Well, one of his, and it was an ad.
Two ways we did.
So one thing is he did an ad.
Yeah.
Earn up to $177,000 a year if you have the courage to call.
Yeah, to call back then. Yeah,
so they pick up their phone and they dial.
And they get
dial the phone.
They
get an answer machine message, and that blind answer machine message said, "You've called this number for one of two reasons. You're curious about the ad, or you're serious about making money. If you're curious, hang up. Don't want to talk to you. You're not the person I'm looking for." And throughout the entire 2 minute, like he left about a 2-minute message.
Yes.
It was a hard sift. It was like every single time throughout there, it was go away. If you're not open and entrepreneurial, go away. Yeah. If you're not prepared to learn something new, go away. If you haven't got work ethic, go away. Oh, you're still with me. And if somebody actually left their name at the end, we had a qualified prospect. Right. And it was harsh, but it worked. And you'd only have to pick up the phone and talk to 2 or 3 people.
That's right.
To enroll
someone, because you'd let the system do the work. So I like to say that in the prospecting system world, and again, we got to be careful to not make it sound like it's a prospecting system. There are systems out there that are set and you can't control them. Things like Hour a Day, you're pretty much in control. We give you some suggestions. We even give you a full-blown template, but you're still able to say, I disagree. I want to collect right on the front page, collect the details. You can do that too. So I like to talk about the difference as being an inclusionary sales funnel versus an exclusionary sales funnel.
Right.
Now, an inclusionary sales funnel means you beg them through. Oh, come on, if you just fill in my form, I'll give you that ebook, or I'll give you $5, or I'll give you a discount, or I'll give you a gift card, or I'll do something to convince you to go through my system to watch some information that you aren't interested in because you're just trying to get what I offered for free.
Right. I don't need your last name. I just need your first name.
Just need your email. You know what? Just your email address. Just give me your email address. Good enough. Good enough. Because I wouldn't want to offend you by asking you for information.
Right.
But you're a serious prospect, right? No. So inclusionary is when you're doing things like, and there's lots of people that disagree with me because they are coming from the normal affiliate world.
They disagree with you?
They disagree. They do. They all say that it's about the volume of data. And my experience in MLM is without the personal connection, you don't end up building a team. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean the phone anymore. It could be MSN Messenger, or MSN Messenger. It could be Facebook Messenger. It could be WhatsApp. It could be WeChat. It could be however you're communicating. But the point is, it's not just an automated email series that signs people up. You need to get that relationship going once you've got someone who's said they're interested. So inclusionary is using gimmicks and things to try to get them to give up their information. Exclusionary is saying, now look, it's going to cost $500. Are you okay with that? Yes or no? No. Great. Go away. Mm-hmm. We have nothing for you. This is exclusionary. So the difference is inclusionary method sells lots of prospecting system because it makes members feel really excited that they got 293 leads and they only paid $20 and yeehaw. And then 3 months later, that person quits because they had 293 leads and not a single one of them signed up. And I was told it would just do everything.
Yep.
Exclusionary makes all the riffraff that wasn't going to join anyways not even become one of your contacts. So you have less phone calls to make, less work to do to create the relationships, and you're dealing with more serious people. This doesn't make newbie members as happy. Newbie members like to get volumes of things so they feel like they're doing stuff.
That's correct.
You want to make a lot of money and do it in an hour a day, you got to go exclusionary. So we believe in that as a method of auto prospecting. Exclusionary prospecting, you get less leads. And that's not a bad thing.
Nope.
I've worked out a rule of thumb. If your leads are, if you're advertising for leads, and now let's talk a little about cold market versus warm market with a prospecting system.
Exactly.
Contrary to popular belief, a prospecting system is not just for the cold market, is it?
No, if it's done properly, actually, it's an easier way to be able to introduce what you're doing in the warm market without being pushing, selling, and convincing.
You mean you might send it out by talking? You might actually phone people in Canada because you have to. You have to actually get permission verbally to send them an email. You can't send them an email asking for permission to send them a business email. Just so you know, that's the CASL laws. So you reach out, Craig got involved in something, no idea if it's something you're interested in or not. But is your email still craig@craig.com? Great. I'm going to send you something. I need you to look right away. This works. So if someone does that, totally lost my train of thought.
If somebody does that, you're going to lose your train of thought?
Yeah. I don't even know where I was going with that.
You don't know where you're going with that. You're going to get some timers. It's not as advanced as Alzheimer's, right?
I know. Need some
That's
more
right.
coconut oil.
No, where I'm guessing that you're going, with that is using the system for warm market compared to only using it for cold market, if I remember where you're going with that.
Exactly, because now you just put all the people in, and you might put in 300 people or 100 people, and you might not get a single response. That doesn't mean the system's broken. That means that your people weren't interested. So now you need to go find some people that are.
Right, and you know what? We did that back when we used to pick up the phone and have lists, and we would call 100 people.
Huh?
We'd have 98 of them rip us a new one. They would.
Next call.
And 1 or 2 would be interested.
Dialing for dollars.
Wouldn't you rather put 100 people into a funnel that leaves you with the 2 or 3 that say they're interested, so you only got to call the 2 or 3?
That's right.
Or do you want to call 100 and feel like you worked really hard? Boy, I worked hard today.
And the other 98 that are upset that it's MLM or whatever, they're swearing at your screen, and they're complaining at their monitors, and they're ready to chuck their phone, but they're not getting through to you. They're having all their little spasms and problems all on their own, talking to your information.
So what you should do with that
preserves your feeling.
Sure,
preserves your pride.
You do it, but the way you should do it though, Dennis, right? Is you get on a Facebook and because I've been seeing ever since New Year's Day, everybody is join me, get my coffee, gonna lose weight, go to the gym, buy my products, every second. Facebook post is about an MLM company. That's how to do it, right?
So how many products have you bought because people were doing that on?
You know how many people I've actually unfriended?
Yeah, exactly.
I've unfriended a lot more people because it's incessant.
Yes.
It's literally every single post is, and I'm not saying anything against coffee companies, but it just seems to be a whole bunch of people want me to get skinny and drink coffee or lose weight or I just seem to be inundated. It just happens to be the one on my Facebook feed that just seems to be coming up over and over and over again.
And let's cover that as well, right? A good prospecting system is going to help you get control of your social media communications, doing it on a better timed basis. You can prospect on LinkedIn. You can prospect on Facebook, absolutely. But of course, most of your approaches on LinkedIn and Facebook include first getting the user base created and then going to talk to them. So obviously with Facebook, the neat thing is Facebook and LinkedIn get you around the spam laws.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Because they've already opted in to be your friend, you're actually allowed to send them an instant message with whatever you want. It can be commercial, and that's not breaking the rules because you've got the implied consent from the fact that they've become your friend in the first place, and they can turn you off. Unlike emails where you're just sending someone that hasn't said yes yet. No, they've already said yes by agreeing to be your friend and connect. So you can use a good prospecting system to time those communications. The problem with social media is we tend to get in a conversation and we go back and forth and we go back and forth. And because we're thinking we can't automate it, after that conversation's over, we forget about that person, possibly for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe forever, because we got busy with other conversations. Using a prospecting system to control that, it's going to remind you in a week that you need to talk to that guy, which is going to then bring up for you to look at what you were conversing about to see that, holy crap, we dropped it and it died, and it's going to give you a talking point. So automated follow-up for social media is more about reminding yourself of the talking point, because you're not trying to control, he said this, I said this, he said this, I said. You're trying to get the conversation started. And remember to pick it back up, because I find myself, I'm terrible. Conversations that are happening in real time and I'm all excited about, I drop them and forget about them for weeks at a time. And then I come back feeling like an idiot, because this just helps. A good prospecting system will help remind you that you had a conversation going. Go back to it. And if it's dead, take them out of your series.
Well, and also a good prospecting system isn't automatic with just this, you know, it's an auto reply, you know, it's a generic statement. A good prospecting system is semi-automated, allows you to be able to put in some personalization so that they know it's not a robot sending you an email, because we all know those ones.
And micro-targeting a little bit, right? So if you can find out a bit of information and now you can deal with the person based upon what they've said or what you know about them, now they're feeling like it's less of a machine because they feel like you're actually listening to what they're saying. So a good prospecting system actually that's custom. Now and again, we got to be careful. Once again, this isn't necessarily so much about the prospecting system platform you buy. This might be about your creativity and how to set it up. So there's two things at play here. You need to have a good prospecting system, and you need to have the thought process on how to set it up cool. If you can get one lucky like Hour a Day, where we actually give you the whole template with all the thought process done and ready to go that you can then modify, that's a bonus. If you don't have one of those, then you might want to study sort of some good sales funnel flows and some good squeeze surveys or step survey flows.
Well, the easy way to look at it, Dennis, is like, think about stuff that you get. When somebody on LinkedIn sends you that, connects with you, and then the very first message you get is this long, okay? Do you really think the person typed that in, or has that been cut and paste?
You know,
and it's got you know, and really, I mean, you see this. They don't even go to hold my hand first. They're going straight for the kiss.
That's right.
I mean, you know, it's like, I disconnected with you and then bam.
Here's what I do and why you'll love me.
And I don't read a single, I literally disconnect from the person immediately, because there's no respect whatsoever. There's no trying to make that connection. I mean, why on earth, just because I accepted your connection, do I have to now read a book?
That's right. I accepted your connection. So does that mean I'm accepting you to put the hard sell on me just because I thought you were interesting enough to connect with?
And this is a common mistake on LinkedIn, especially, that I see time and time again when people are connecting with me, because I think I'm over 5,000 connections personally on LinkedIn. And you know, and I'm careful. I don't just connect with everybody. And if they have something in common with me, the way that I go through it, you can go back through some of our Hour a Day trainings. Go to houraday.com and go into the trainings. You'll find the one I did on LinkedIn and how I use LinkedIn effectively. And there's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. But that's one of my biggest pet peeves. I want to get to know you. I want to find out more about you. You know, say hi to me, go into my profile. The biggest pet peeve I have is that somebody connects with me and says, tell me about you.
That's right. Hello.
Tell me about
my profile.
You know, did you read my profile? Or in my case, where I happen to be corporate with a company, they immediately go and pitching me on their MLM to be a distributor.
Because they didn't look at your profile.
Did you read my profile?
No.
You know, did you take time in consideration? You saw MLM in my profile because you searched for MLM. I came up and you hit connect.
That's right.
And I was kind enough to accept that, or stupid enough to accept it.
Wow, being the VP of companies, smart enough so you can reverse prospect them into your deal. Come on, let's be fair. There's a method to your madness.
I do connect with people, and that's my job. But when they immediately come out and they haven't read my profile, and I know it's a cut and a paste, I typically I'll give them one chance. I'm a little bit nicer than you. I will give them one chance. I will send them a little reply. You know, and literally say, you know, I like to, you know, you got to hold my hand first before you can kiss me. Dinner would be nice.
Yeah,
but you can't go straight for the close.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you probably need to learn a little bit about what we do at the hour a day. Come on. And I do offer them a little bit of coaching.
Give them an olive branch.
You know, I do that. Come and see how we do things to do this right. If you want to learn, because you know what, people are new. You know, they've been taught wrong.
Yep.
And they've been taught wrong. Let's teach them how to do it right. So if you're out there doing that right now, we don't hate you.
Yep.
Okay. We want to help you, because there's a way to go and use social media correctly, which is why when we're designing, we're talking about how do we design the social media follow-up series.
So Twitter than an email.
So Twitter is a little bit different because you only have
140 characters.
That's it. And then you know,
SMS,
a text message
is 160 characters.
Right. So you and you got to be careful because you don't want to send somebody a book. You don't want going into two different
And then
ones.
you've got LinkedIn where you can send 10,000 characters or 2,000 characters. Doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. Or Facebook.
Facebook also, you can do tons of stuff, but you know, you got to think about the way people are receiving your message, because most people aren't using social media on their computer. So therefore they're seeing it on their screen. So if you're scrolling through the book, you're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
So keep your communications smaller, maybe make links to more information so that your communication can stay small. But if they want to learn more, they don't necessarily, but better yet, ask them some questions that are not in their profile. Like, well, for example, real world example with Small Business Dream, which is the other division that's for the small business world of hour a day for the MLM world. We actually have 2 hours a day of LinkedIn campaign going on where our guys go out and look for people that are business consultants. And then they connect with people that are business consultants. And the first communication we say is, hey, you know, we have some, you know, connections in common, blah, 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 blah. They connect back. And our first thing to them is, you know what, we're really trying to learn about what kind of CRM and sales automation tools are people using. Would you mind sharing with us what you use? Man, we get great response to that. And then they usually come back and say, why, what do you use? Well, now that you asked, right?
There you go.
So so imagine if you did your MLM the same way, like you taught. Reach out to these people and say, hey, what auto-prospecting system are you using to build your MLM? Oh, you're not using one? Well, have you heard about Hour a Day? It's free. You can actually use the Hour a Day system as your in, or your prospecting system. It can be your prospecting system. Yeah. The point is, when you're approaching someone on LinkedIn that's in MLM, instead of pitching them immediately what you do, why don't you offer something of value to them? It's pretty good. You taught me all this like 2 months ago, and
but it makes sense. And talking to other networkers, I mean, think about it. You need to have a system.
Yep.
Now, Dennis, you've been kind enough to make it now a free system for everybody. It's a small user, so even a leader can make sure that all of their newbies, all of their team get up on the system. And we're going to get in, because we're getting now into the second half of our program. So because the next part of our program is going to be really going deep into detail, if you're following us on Facebook right now, you're not going to be able to follow the rest of this. So if you want to follow us for the rest of what we're doing, you need to go to ouraday.com and you need to click on the webinar link. And then you can find the live webinar, because we're live right now on a Google Hangout. There is a link there. You can go click on that link, and then you can see the rest of it, because we can't share our screens like we're going to be sharing the screen.
Yeah, we're going to be sharing the screen and actually now showing you how we've set up the Hour a Day prospecting system for a skincare type of a company generically. Obviously, it can be tweaked to fit any kind of a company. So we're actually going to get into showing you a full-blown setup system. Today, we're going to focus just on showing you how the squeeze works, how the landing pages work, how the video displays work, the data collection model, and then probably just go in to show you what a contact looks like in the contact manager, because that should easily take us a half an hour.
Yeah.
And then next week, this bent, and we'll be talking a little bit about your warm market list again, and then how you can actually use the Hour a Day system to specifically work your warm market list. And then we'll get into the deeper and deeper features of Hour a Day as related to the deeper and deeper features or the deeper and deeper needs you run into as you build a bigger team.
Right.
So that's the flow that we're going to start getting into now.